In Google Slides as well as Google Draw, we have the same text box icon on the toolbar here. So this would be the text box icon, and I clicked on it and I added my text. But that looks very boring to me, and I want to jazz it up so that it looks really good and pops off the page. So the first thing I'm going to do is click on the text, and then I'm going to highlight it. And now I can come here and I can add different fonts. So if I click on the little drop down arrow, then I can change to any of these fonts available. But I love that Google gives you the option to add your own that might not be on this list to begin with. In order to do that, we just click on more fonts right here at the top. And then you're able to see a longer list. And any of the fonts with a check mark beside them are already in your list. But if you want to add additional ones, so let's say I want to add this one here, then I click on it, it will be added to my list, and then I click OK. You can add multiple before you click OK if you want. So if I want to add a few more or all of them, then I can just continue to click on the different ones that I want to add in there. So okay, and then when you click back here on this arrow, then you'll see all of them, including the new ones that you added in. And I am going to choose this one. So I like the way that looks, but I want to make it bigger. Now, one of the things that is a little tricky if you've never used Google Slides before is that sometimes, for instance, in Word, if you have word art, you can click on the marquee handles and drag, and it will make the text bigger. But that does not happen with Google. So what I'm going to do first of all is actually resize my text box and make it fit my text, which is helpful for if you want to center it, for example. But then secondly, what I'm going to do is highlight the text and I'm going to make it larger. In order to make it bigger, I have to click up here where it has the font size and change it with the arrow, or I can always type in a number. So if I want it to be 65, then I can click 65, but then you'll notice that we have to resize our box. So in order to do that, I'm just going to click on the marquee handle here and drag and make it larger. Now this gives me some options. If I want to leave it this way, I can, but I think I want to make it a little bit smaller. So I'm going to highlight the text and go back up here and just type in 60. I typically just play around with it until it looks like I want it to. You can also choose any of these that are already set, but you'll notice, for instance, 55 is not available here for me. So if I type it, then it gives me some different options. So what I'm going to do now, because you can see that this box of color that I have here, this shape, is at an angle. I want to angle my text. So in order to do that, at the very top of my text box, once I click on it, then I'm going to use this little circle at the top. And then when you click and hold with your mouse, then you can rotate. So if you just click, and then on my mouse pad here, I'm actually just moving my finger to rotate, and you can do this with your actual mouse as well if you have that. And then we're going to let go whenever it's at an angle that I like. Okay, so once you have it lined up how you want it to be, then you can do a few things. I actually think I want this to be two separate lines. So in order to do that, I'm just going to click on right after design, and I'm going to press enter on the keyboard. So now it is two lines. And then in order to make it centered, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my text box smaller. And instead of being left aligned or right aligned, I want it to be centered. So in order to center the text, I'm going to go up here to the text bar, click align, and then I'm going to use the center justification there. And finally, I'm going to make it centered in my box. So let's do that. Okay, and I just use my arrow keys on my keyboard, but you can also drag it as well in order to get it where you want it to be. Okay. Once we're done here, the last thing I want to do is add a shadow. And in order to add a shadow, if you click on your text, as I did, I just clicked on the text box, and then the format options will come up over here for you on the side. Okay, and then I'm going to go to drop shadow. I'm going to click on drop shadow, and then I'm going to make it a white background for my shadow. And then I'm going to actually make it a little less transparent. Let's see, there we go. So I can see it back there. Or I could actually make it a color and then it would really pop like that. I like that better actually. Just kind of playing around with the color and the transparency of it, how blurred it is. Okay, one last thing I want to show you is the angle. So if I want to change the angle, right now it's basically underneath, but if I want to make it either on the left or the right side or the top, then I can do that. So you can see it starts at the very bottom, or this is the right side all the way to the left of my slider bar, and then as I continue to go over, then it will move the location where it's found. And then once you're happy with it, then just click off of the text box and you're ready to go.